Check it, you back out and about in the streets and digital space with Marcus G and Coach with the Play.
TB.
And today, we're going to be grateful for the small things in life.
The small things in life.
Because every day we hustle and bustle and we try to make the best of everything that we have going on. And life can come at you like a bullet train.
Choo-choo.
So you got to be grateful for these small things.
No doubt.
If you overlook and don't be grateful for the small things,
Miss the big things.
it's the little things that make a difference.
And if you don't take notice of the small things, how you gonna know what's the big things?
Exactly.
You gotta know what is small in order to know what's big. So if you want to value the big things, you have to take to value the small things in life when it comes to business.
It's about having gratitude, because when you show gratitude, people extend gratitude. It's those little things that can really spark a difference in somebody's life. And I've noticed that a lot of times we have gotten away from simple, how are you today?
How things going for you?
We have all these deadlines and things we want to accomplish and we rush. It's not always healthy to stress yourself out that way, man.
Now, sometimes people are stressed to make ends meet.
It's like a never-ending maze of difficulties. Take the time and be appreciative of the small things in life. Simply saying thank you. I enjoyed that conversation, or thank you for refilling my drink. Thank you for hanging out with us today, out and about in the streets and the cyberspace and digital space. Everybody out there, we're grateful for y'all.
Yeah, out and about, man. We appreciate you guys rolling with us. We ask you to continue to roll with us because we got them jewels coming. MGL got the jewels coming on the small things, giving you some ups so you can recognize the big things in your business.
The crazy part about it, people have the tendency, let me rephrase that.
For granted
They take for granted what they have until it's no longer available. When you take it for granted, it's no longer there, you realize what you have, and a lot of times it's too late. The opportunity is gone. Whether it's support of a loved ones, the kindness of a stranger, or the comfort of family's routine, these seemingly insignificant elements of our life can have a profound impact on our well-being and outlook. In essence, they serve as the building blocks of gratitude.
Yeah, man, it's like losing a loved one.
Yeah.
When you lose that loved one, the question becomes, did I say some of the things I wanted to say to them? Did I value them enough? Or I missed them? Or losing a good employee from some mistake that they may have made and you overreacted, allowing your ego cause that good employee to move on, and then you in a situation where you wish the person never left.
And vice versa. When people work in a job and they think that they can find a better one and don't realize all the things that you went to bat for them, and they go and they find out, dang, I really had it good at that spot.
That's the same thing as a double-edged sword. You know, you wish that you would have stayed with that employee, or you wish you would have stayed with that crew, or you wish you would have helped them build their business because, man, you were right there and you could have been a part of it. So paying attention to the little things that someone does for you will help you in making the right decision. Meaning, like Marcus said, if somebody go and get me a glass of soda or bring me a glass of water, give me napkins or something like that, that's the little small things. But if you pay attention to that and don't overlook that, that will help you in valuing that individual or valuing that person, because those little things add up to the point where you won't devalue them, where if they make a mistake, you're ready to get rid of them because you got all these little things that you've been paying attention to about this particular person will help you make the right decision when it comes to a situation where y'all are at the crossroads. So paying attention to the little things is very, very important when it comes to business.
Consider counting the small blessings that we have every day, from the sun shining on our face to the conversations to just waking up in the morning. Man, these gestures are monumental because they can really uplift your day and spirit. You never know whose day you're going to change just by saying thank you. Those little gestures really goes a long way in people's lives. I know I had many times where I felt like I was having a bad day and somebody said, good morning. And you know what? It changed my whole day around. And next thing I know, the day ends up being perfect. You got to be grateful for the small gestures and the small things and take the time out of your life and consider that, especially when you feel like you're being overwhelmed with a lot coming at you. If you just sit back and be grateful for the little things, and that goes back to some people see the world half full and half empty as a glass. But if you really understand that, yo, we are really blessed in the things that we have and the capabilities and the people that we have around us, and not take those people for granted, a lot of things are really just sitting at your fingertips.
Yeah, man. In business, some of the other small things that we should pay close attention to is being prompt in our communication when it comes to clients, different clients. If a client is trying to get with you or left you a message, try to get right back to that client. That's a small thing. You figure like, I'm busy, I'll get back to him when I get back to him. But we are saying that you should pay closer attention to the small things and get right back to the client. That helps in your success. You know, actively listening to your clients and customers and making sure that you listening to their feedback, you hearing what they saying. You know, show appreciation to your employees, maintaining a positive work environment, like a personal touch in every case, especially when it comes to your customers, and being detail oriented when it comes to your customers, following up with leads on a consistent basis, and taking initiative to improve the process that whatever your business is doing. Take time to see how you can make it better. Essentially, just focusing on the little details is something that creates that positive experience for both your customers and the colleagues that you're working with.
It's cultivating a culture that has goodwill. Like you said, it goes a long way with people. It just makes the business run. It makes everybody's day better and easier just by simply saying, you know what, let me call on this client, let me check on, make sure that they're good. Because a lot of times when you end up doing that, they've been so busy doing other stuff, they'd be like, oh man, you've been on mine, I've been meaning to call you, I got this opportunity for you, let me do this. I'm glad you called me at the right time. And you never know what doors it opens. And when you do that with people and you build that rapport, like you said, it makes everybody's life just that much easier. I appreciate sometimes when people remove themselves from me. Sometimes you realize that they did you a favor and vice versa.
Dodging the bullet.
And you don't even know it. So in today's fast-paced world, it's too easy to be consumed by our own concerns and ambitions, overlooking the countless blessings that surround us. Yet, by taking a moment to pause and reflect on the small things we have to be grateful for, we can cultivate a profound sense of appreciation. I always want more and I want to do better, but at the same time, I am content to a degree because things could be so much worse. But it's like always striving to make things better.
Yeah, keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. That is the life of an entrepreneur. You have to keep pushing until you meet your goals. But on a psychological aspect of paying attention to the small things, we must understand and we must know that the small things are things that seep into what we call the subconscious mind. We so busy in our conscious mind paying attention to the big goals. What is our cost for this month? How much do we got to put out? And how many sales we have to make? Or what is our payroll for this month? We put that those are considered the bigger things. And then the smaller things seeps more into the subconscious mind. So that's why it's important that if you're going to pay attention to the big things, let's not forget how important it is to pay attention to the small things, because it's still having an effect on your psyche and on your employee psyches and on your colleague psyches and all the people around you. It still has that effect on their psychology.
Pay attention to the details and it'll tell you a lot just about somebody. You know, listening to the tone of their voice, seeing how they normally walk in the morning. Those little things can make a difference. You can tell if somebody's having a good day or bad day just by just the way they greet you or talk to you, and the fact that you be in tune with these things, it can tell you a lot and it can change the whole conversation. Because you can say, you know what, let's go grab a coffee or something before we get the day started.
Yeah.
And those little things can make a huge difference throughout the rest of the day, because you took the time to say, you know what, I'm gonna pay attention to you and what you got going on. Let me try to boost you up before we get into the normal everyday hustle and bustle of all the things we got to accomplish.
One of the things I can see in businesses that are around me, and where some business owners, CEOs, and the managers and the likes fall short at, is using the proper tone and tact. Like, I'm glad, my pops, he taught me, the proper tone and tact and how important communication is, and how far well communicating can take you. Take notice to your tone and tact. Sometimes when things happen in a business, again, like we talk about, maybe a mistake, always try to use the proper tone and tact, because a lot of times our emotions, as far as ego and things of that nature, can be upfront in certain situations. So we have to smother those things that are not good for us, and consistently use the proper tone and tact, and that will carry you a long way with respect to communicating properly.
Somebody sitting there with you with aggressive tone, all that's really going to do is make you more aggressive. You're going to pick it up. You may not even be in that mindset, but that little adjustment and you just bringing your voice down. You even maybe start whispering, make them to bring down their tone.
Yeah.
You'll end up adjusting,
changing the atmosphere.
now you can have the conversation. But as soon as you start matching their energy,
Combustion.
paying attention to details goes a long way in everything and anything that we do. So make sure that you do it. It's all about the details and the little things that make a difference. And my point is that they add up.
Yeah.
So many things going on, and the little things pile and pile and pile on top. So if you start piling a whole bunch of, I'm gonna say, garbage, you're gonna end up with a pile of garbage. But if you sit there and stack each brick of your business, your relationships in a nice, neat form and fashion, you'll end up having a solid foundation. And that's really what everybody wants. We want to have solid relationships with people. We want to have solid business dealings. We want to have solid investments. We want to pay attention to all the little details. At the same time, we have an overall big picture that we're building. So it's like, if you don't pay attention to the small ones, when you have this big picture, it's gonna be a big mess.
A wise man once told me, man, he said, one good small thing that you can do, and this is with respect to anything, but of course we like to equate everything to business, the business world, business development, which we do. Even in business or even outside of business, when you show your appreciation by writing someone a small handwritten note, that tends to be a personalized situation to a client, for a sale, or for a colleague doing a great job. That goes a long way with respect to building rapport. The little things are, I would say, just as important as the big things.
Exactly, because when you have a business, you have different people attending to different smaller parts of the business that make the whole. And it's very important that each part does its specific position, because each of these parts play a bigger part in the overall scheme of things. And that's where I think a lot of people get lost. It's like, look, I need you to do this little tedious part of the job, and it may seem small, and you may even think it's insignificant, but it's important because it adds to the grand scheme of things. When you don't take your position and job serious, you can mess up everybody just because you did not do one little small task that you assigned. And that's where you have great leadership. They will assign tasks and delegate, and you can't always look at it like, oh, why you got me doing this minuscule task? It may seem minuscule, but it has a big ripple effect that ends up affecting everybody. And just because you didn't do it, it can mess up. It can be as simply as tightening the screw. Because you didn't tighten this one little screw, the whole bottom fell out of this whole thing that everybody spent the time working and doing. So you got to be grateful that you have the opportunities, that you can do what you do. I'm not saying that you want to have to enjoy everything that you do, but understand that there's a time and place. And when you don't do your specific duty, believe me, it's going to catch up to you, because when you want somebody to do something small and specific for you and they don't do it, it's like you brought it on yourself because you didn't do the same thing. You weren't open and pliable. That's just the way life goes.
Yeah, you know, another small thing that we should pay attention to when it comes to business and our overall environment. You and Les did that podcast a couple weeks ago. Y'all did an excellent job on that podcast, and Les brought up clients' personal preferences. When he said, you know, if a customer walks in, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, you like to sit right here. Oh yeah, you like your drink like this." You know, if you remember, those personal preferences is a small thing that will go a long way in building rapport as well. So just key things that we should pay attention to, little things that can help you out in a business that a lot of people think may be a small thing, but it could add up to be a big thing, Marcus.
It reminds me a lot of time where me doing a lot of IT work for people, maintain their back office. And a lot of times what ends up happening is you do all this stuff and you keep the systems running. Sometimes people don't realize all the stuff that you do, and they be like, "Oh, I don't have any problems. I don't need them anymore." Then soon as something goes wrong,
you first one they call
and be like, "Yep, well, you know, you thought it was a little job that was being done, but you didn't realize how much it really impacted your business and it helped things run." People always try to cut costs with IT, with marketing and promotion and little things, but what they end up finding out is that they end up spending more money because they wanted to try to save a little bit of money that ends up costing them a whole bunch of more money in the end of the day. And you got to be careful, because if you don't really understand how something really affects your bottom line, those small things will make a big difference and end up costing you more. And one of the biggest things that's a small thing is people working together. Working together makes life so much easier. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing at the same time. And it's not something that's really hard. It's just being able to communicate with people, being open. We want to be appreciated in the things that we do. And when you do that, like I said, that little small thing makes a big difference.
We're going to keep on reflecting on the values and standards that will guide us to a higher stage in business and in all our podcasts. And paying attention to the small things is one of them. You know, we should go by my school's homecoming, man, and ask a few people what are some of the small things that they value, and see what type of responses we get from them, man. What you think?
Let's go check it out.
In our podcast today, we were talking about the little things. So Out and About podcast, we out and about, we out in cyberspace. And MGL and myself, we had a conversation about what are some of the smaller things that we pay attention to. So first of all, I wanted to introduce you guys to the audience. This is Precious. Leslie is a finance major. Precious is an accounting major. And so what we wanted to know is some of the little things that you guys pay attention to.
Honestly, for me, I would say, you know, just being able to have professors that really, really care about their student, and, you know, that are willing to actually teach and actually wanting to be on campus to teach. I would say, yeah, that's one thing I'm grateful for, because that way you learn a whole lot.
To be like a student at Morgan State, for me, like, is a great opportunity for me, and like to be able to have an education, because back home it's really difficult, and like even my friends, my brothers and sister, like even traveling here, like I'm amazed just by coming to America. Is like, because I'm from Cameroon, Central Africa.
We out and about in the streets and the digital space.
Like and subscribe and share the podcast. We appreciate y'all.